What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kid Vision. It is the middle of the week and I decided to make a video on my top 10 albums of 2022, and we're actually going to be talking about 20 albums. 10 are going to be pretty brief, but it's that time of year. We're doing countdowns. So yeah, I wanted to talk about what I love, what I listen to on a daily basis, and I just thought that would be a fun video to make. So I just want to say before the video starts, do not comment any hate towards my list. This is my list. Nobody in the world is going to have the same opinion as me. As a matter of fact, a couple albums on these lists, some of you might not know. And that's great because hopefully you'll have some new music to listen to that'll grow to be your favorite. So that's all I want to say to preface this. Let's get right into this. First of all, 5 albums that I never really returned to, but I respect the hell out of, and I thought they were like super well crafted. First listen was Future, I Never Liked You. Super hard banger. Trap. It could be a trap classic. It's up for some Grammys. I was a Future fan a long time ago, like 5-6 years ago. So it's just, if I want to listen to Future, I'm going to listen to his better stuff. And who knows, this could grow to be one of his better albums, but right now I'd never come back to it. The Alchemist, Elephant Man's Bones with Rock Marciano. I thought this was just so like menacing and weird and just well crafted. Like the lyricism is just crazy on it, and the production is just like typical Alchemist, right? But yeah, same as Future's. I never really came back to it for whatever reason. Soul Sold Separately by Freddie Gibbs. Same exact thing, very close to my opinion of Elephant Man's Bones. Lots of good songs on there. My reaction is even on the channel. My reaction to Future's album is also on the channel. So you can see what tracks I liked if you watch that. But yeah, haven't really come back to that. And then Danger Mouse, Cheat Codes. I feel like some rap fans might be surprised that's not on my top 10. Let me tell you, dude, Black Thought is the craziest. Like, he's almost too good. I just like was listening to it and I'm like, how is someone this good at writing lyrics? And it just surprised me. I didn't even know who Danger Mouse was before this year. I'm gonna be like real honest. And the production is just incredible. And then mixed with Black Thought, like, I need to give this another chance. Never really came back to it. Last one on this on these 5 albums that I never came back to is Simba, Results Take Time. Now I reacted to this and I gave it a pretty high score, I think. I liked a lot of songs on it. The following 2 weeks I listened to like 3 or 4 songs like in rotation on it, but then I kind of stopped listening to them when they exited my on repeat playlist on Spotify. So that was definitely the album that surprised me the most this year, even more than Danger Mouse and Black Thought, because I didn't even know who Simba was. I just saw a viral clip of him with Dr. Dre in the studio and it intrigued me, so I reacted to it. But yeah, I know Simba's been around for like a decade now in the game. Hasn't really gotten much traction from what I saw, but in my eyes, this was an incredible album to come back with. It looks like there was a couple years between his last 2 releases and then his first project. Well, it's not his first. It's his first project on Spotify. It came out in 2012. Honorable mentions. I know those were kind of honorable mentions, but it was so hard to make this list, guys. Drake and 21 Savage, Her Loss. I was super surprised by this. I was surprised that this was even a thing, like that they even decided to do a collab album. I don't know. I went into it like really looking forward to it, and then I was kind of let down. It was just, I can't even put my finger on it. It was just like cringy at points, and I haven't come back to it that much. Another one I wanted to mention was 12 Karat Toothache by Post Malone. I just wanted to mention this one because I saw him live at the XL Center in Minneapolis, well, St. Paul, this year, and I listened to it a lot leading up to that, and the whole concert was just a really cool experience as well, and it made me connect to the album even more. So that's why this is on honorable mentions. The Reputation is incredible. Like, I think I cried on camera in my reaction, so you can go watch that. But then we have Dawn FM by The Weeknd. This is an honorable mention because I even forgot it came out this year. It was in January. But the whole like universe that he created is so amazing, and each track just bleeds into each other. Jim Carrey narrates the whole thing, which was just super cool, and he was like perfect for that, and just mixed extremely well. And I've always been a big Weeknd fan. So, and then we have Dreamville's D-Day. Why is no one talking about this? Like, did it really flop that hard? Like, I looked at a couple like albums of the year videos before this, and nobody mentioned D-Day. And you got Stick on there. You got like a ton of J. Cole songs. Heaven's EP, holy shit, that was so good. The Drake rapping over the Drake song. And then Big Trouble Freestyle is one that always stuck with me. And Cause is like, I'm not like a big Cause fan, but he just like destroyed that track. So yeah, I don't know why no one's talking about this, but it's also a Gangsta Grills mixtape, which is legendary. Like, DJ Drama is amazing, and I like everything he does. And for the last honorable mention, we'll go with I Don't Know What to Do by this artist named Kid Vision. It came out towards the beginning of the year, and it is just a really nice, short, sweet project. Go listen to it if you haven't. It is a pop punk album, and it is very pleasant to the ear, so go listen to it. But anyway, let's get into the top 10. This one was super hard to know where to put it, and I didn't want to give it an honorable mention. No Thank You by Little Sims. Now, Simbi was my favorite album of 2021, and it just changed hip hop for me. Like, she is easily my favorite female rapper, one of my favorite rappers, period. And I reacted to this just a couple weeks ago, and that's why it's number 10, because I haven't had time to digest it fully. I've listened to it front to back without skipping it like 4 or 5 times now, and it's just super easy to listen to. Like, the lyricism is top tier, and she's just talking a lot about like her label and how she feels like trapped kind of, but she also makes it relate to everybody at the same time. Just a super nice listen. And there's not a dull moment on the whole album until you get to like not the last song, but the 2 before it. It really fell off in my opinion, and I still feel that way after that many listens. So that's why it's also at 10. Number 9, we have Denzel Curry, Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. This came out in January, I think, as well, so that's kind of why it's lower, because I haven't, for it being out for almost a year now, I haven't returned to it as much as some of these other albums, but the universe that Denzel Curry created with the music videos was incredible. Like, the music videos for this album blew me away, and there's a different vibe for like each one. I didn't actually do the album, which is crazy, but that is an incredible album. That's why it is in my top 10 of 2022. Number 8, Metro Boomin, Heroes and Villains. Now, I was a super big fan of the first Metro Boomin project that he did, and I was really looking forward to this one, and the trailer just really set the mood. And then Morgan Freeman narrates throughout the whole thing, and A$AP Rocky does a little bit, and it's just like the best collaboration in the hip-hop genre that we had all year. So I feel like that alone deserved to put it at the top 10. I think there is a skip. The last Travis Scott song on there is kind of just similar to the other Travis Scott ones on the project, but like, if you're gonna listen to this album, you have to listen to it like front to back. It's just such a vibe. You can get lost in it. Superheroes is probably my favorite track, and then the Young Thug one was insane. And you can watch my reaction to the Young Thug track, which is hilarious in my opinion. It's a really funny highlight from my channel. But yeah, so that's why that is number 8. Pusha T, It's Almost Dry at number 7. I've listened. We're getting into the albums now that I listen to on like a daily basis. What Dreaming of the Past, is that what it's called? Yeah, Dreaming of the Past is amazing, dude. You ain't dripping, you drying, Kevlar in this Balenciaga jacket lining. Like, that whole verse is so good, and I can rap like the whole thing. And that's one of the few songs this year I learned to like rap the whole song, because it's just so fun and he's so slick with it. And that's an album as well that's so compact, and you can listen to it like front to back like super easily. It's not the longest album either. So yeah, It's Almost Dry, amazing. Pharrell and Kanye are my 2 favorite producers of all time. So that also just heightens it so much. I went into that album thinking like it was very small chance I was let down. Number 6, one that surprised the world, Gemini Rights by Steve Lacy. I think it's nominated for like 6 Grammys. Yeah, okay, so the album is nominated for 4 Grammys, which is insane. He is definitely one of the artists that emerged this year, one of the best new artists. He's not even a new artist. He produced stuff for J. Cole and Kendrick in the past, and he did it like on his iPhone or some shit, and he is like the most talented producer, and now he's a fully fledged artist who is making insane moves. Bad Habits is obviously the song everyone knows him for, but Helmet was probably my, oh, man, it was easily in my top 10 songs of the year. I listened to Helmet like so many times, bro. Just such a feel-good album, but it's experimental at the same time, and it's super easy to listen to when you're at work and trying to focus. Yeah, so Gemini Rights, definitely a very nice surprise for the year. Number 5, top 5, we got Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. The best concert I have ever been to in my life, hands down. Just the creativity of like when he was on stage, he had the curtains drawn like an actual theater, and he had shadow puppets going on him at all times, and some of them were real, some of them weren't, so you never really knew, and it was like kind of creepy. And the choreography he had with all his backed up dancers were insane, and he has released so many videos now for it, slowly releasing them throughout the year, and it just adds to the universe of the album every single time. It is definitely the most personal he has ever gotten, and there are a good amount of bangers on there as well, with like introspective songs, and I've definitely been listening to it nonstop the whole year. So definitely not an album I never came back to. I still listen to N95. That's probably my favorite song on it, and Silent Hill as well. There's a lot of them. But yeah, number 4, The Forever Story by JID. I was looking for, if you watch my reaction video, I say in there, like, I was looking forward to this album for so long. Like, we heard about the album at the beginning of the year, and it took like the whole year for it to come out. And it did not disappoint at all. Man, the last song he added to the project, once he got the sample cleared, was like a perfect wrap up to it. There's not a single bad song on the whole album. If I feel like listening to JID, nowadays I just go to the album and hit play and just listen to it all the way through. The first song is incredible, like that, not like the first full song, like the intro is incredible. Every day's a move, everywhere you are, pray be the rest of you. Like, that is so good. Oh my god. And man, Cody is an amazing song. It's so beautiful. I reacted to the video on here and the whole album, by the way. Yeah, so definitely definitely my favorite rap album of the year. That is my top rap album of the year, and it's not even close, really. I know it's just one off of Kendrick's in my rankings, but like, bro, this is an album I waited years for, and I also waited years for like a new Kendrick album. But like, JID is like the biggest up and coming rapper in my opinion, from what I see. So with that being said, top three. I have a lot to say about these three albums. At number three, we have Charlie XCX, Crash. This is the album I regretted not reacting to on camera the most. It was right when I was moving into this apartment. I was so busy that week, I just didn't have time to do a full album reaction on it. But I was looking forward to this ever since she released like the first single, which felt like an 80s kind of rebirth, which I was super excited for, because she's known as like the queen of hyperpop, like one of the artists who started the genre of hyperpop, like way before it even had a title. So I've been a Charlie XCX fan for like a long time. And when this came out, I don't even remember the first time I heard it. And I know that's probably not a positive, but like, it was just so easy to listen to. And I just kept coming back to it, and pretty soon I realized every single song on it is insanely catchy. I think I've had every song on that album stuck in my head at some point. My favorite song is Lightning, easily. Like, that is one of my favorite songs of the year, easily. And then just man, the song, like, I saw her do Baby live on, what was that, Jimmy Fallon, and that was nuts. It's like super sexy song, but it gets stuck in your head, and that's the scary combination. Like, I don't feel comfortable like singing any of that like in public around my friends or anything. But bro, that just the whole album, just front to back, just pop hit after pop hit after pop hit. The best pop album in the last 3 years, in my opinion. And I know I don't listen to every single pop album. If you have a better pop album, drop it in the comments, because it is definitely my next favorite genre behind hip hop. Yeah, I think that about does it. That lived up to the hype so much. Not a single skip on that project. Next, number 2, we have Breakins with Hypochondriac. And I know some people watching this video thought it was going to be number 1 because the Break-Ins video did better than I think any of my videos this whole year. So we have some diehard Break-Ins subscribers for sure. This album was just obviously no skips. Obviously, I don't even have to say that. It's at my number 2. Like, it is the most well-crafted, just... I was kind of speechless after the reaction, and I'm getting that way now. Like, I just don't know how it's possible to make that album. It's kind of like what I said about Black Thought, about him like being the lyricist he is earlier. I don't know how Breakins produces any of this, and I know he has a team, but he did most of the project all by himself. He mixed it, mastered it, produced it, wrote it, did vocals. Like, he does pretty much everything, and it just blows my mind, like the emotion and just the attention to detail that went into this project. People give it shit for the lyrics. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, yeah, there's some corny lyrics on there, but there are some standout lyrics that are super like thought-provoking as well, that people just completely ignore, because I guess some people let the bad ones overshadow the good ones. But my favorite song on there is definitely Deep Fake. That is just emotionally draining to listen to, and so beautiful at the same time. It just really gives you an idea of like just the human condition, like mental health, and it's so catchy, and it slaps at the same time, and just everything you could ever want from Break-Ins is in that song. And then the very next song is definitely the most slept on the album. Introvert is like a country kind of pop song. It's like really weird. Obviously mixtures of hyperpop in there, but That is the one I slept on the most in my reaction. That is now probably my second favorite song, just because of like the journey it takes you on, and it just has such a good vibe. You could just vibe out to it. There's no like glitches that like jolt you out of the vibe, like some of the other songs. An example of that is Preparation Exercise. That's definitely my least favorite song on the project, just because it goes a little too far with like how crazy it is like towards the end. And Teeth also does that at the end of it. I'm not a big fan of when Breakins does that like really crazy glitch stuff. For whatever reason, it worked in Caffeine for me, and that's because he's still saying like lyrics, and it's just something I've never heard of before. I have never heard anything like Caffeine before. But yeah, that is a. I think I gave it a 9 out of 10. I don't give 10 out of 10s too often. But yeah, that was some foreshadowing, by the way. But yeah, definitely my most watched artist that's up and coming. This album I waited all year for. I think everybody knew about it like a full year before its release. I think it was originally called Bloom to Death. Yeah, there's mention of it at the end of Deep Fake in the skit. But yeah, it was called Bloom to Death. But yeah, enough talking about break-ins. My number one album of the year was I Didn't Mean to Haunt You by Quadeca. Man, the videos I did on I Didn't Mean to Haunt You were like my most well-received videos of the year, right next to Break-Ins, and for good reason. He has a very dedicated fan base, and for good reason. The evolution of his artistry through the years is just phenomenal and can't really compare to anybody else. I heard some talk about him changing his name. Like people, like his fans are like, why didn't you change your name to go like before you went into this new genre? And it's like, bro, that defeats the whole purpose. Part of the reason I like Quadeca is seeing his growth and seeing his evolution and the early signs of what this album was gonna become. And the concept of the album is just like incredible. He's talking from the perspective of a ghost the whole album, and it's just super emotional, just super in depth. The production on it is the best production I've heard on any album in my life, perhaps. Like, I just don't know how that was possible to create. And yes, even better than Break-Ins' album. It's different. They're very different, so I should probably not be comparing them, but you get a little bit of everything in production. Like in my reaction, all the tracks started to blend together a little bit until the halfway point of the album, and then House Settling and Knots just blew my mind. Like when the album picked up and like it was more upbeat, it was just so crazy. And then right when I got comfortable with that sound, in comes Fantasy World with like the most heart-wrenching song of the year for me. Like I've cried on camera like 3 times, I think, but that was so hard to get through. Like, just the whole concept of the song is just content with his life that he's lived, and it's just so beautiful. And the climax of the song is just the best like instrumental like drop of the whole year, in my opinion. I had nothing bad to say about this album. It's definitely my most listened to album, along with Crash this year, which is crazy because Crash was out like most of the year. But according to Spotify, Quadeca's album is already my most listened to, even though it's only been out for like a couple months, I think. And that just goes to show how much I really like it. And if you have any time in your day to just sit down and listen to an album front to back, you have to listen to it with the visual video. He has an entire 50-minute video for the entire album that you can watch, and it really adds to the universe. And yeah, that's about all I have to say about Quadeca's album. I think I spent enough time on that. Anyway, guys, tell me what I missed. Those are my top 10 albums. There are probably some that I forgot to talk about, but I even added 10 extra outside of my top 10 in this conversation. So those are my thoughts. If you want me to do a top 10 songs of the year, let me know in the comments. I'm not sure how well this video will do, but I know lots of people are doing this, and it's something that I really love. I love talking about music. That's the whole reason I have this channel. So thank you guys so much, especially for those that are still watching, and subscribe if you made it this far. That means you liked something in the video, right? Have a great holiday. I will react to more music on Friday like I do every single week. And I don't even know what songs are coming out this Friday, so I'll have to check that. But thank you guys so much, and I will see you on Friday. Peace.